Thank you for joining me. I'm meteorologist Brian Shields. Let's get right into it and the spots we're watching. We have a few weak tropical waves in general headed into the Caribbean as we go over the next few days. Eastern Caribbean, want to dive down into the southeastern Caribbean. The rain chance goes up. And then you see this blob over here. This is kind of the tail end of that tropical disturbance that moved by Florida and the Bahamas. And there's just some leftover moisture, but it's a big area of moisture sitting very close to the Yucatan of Mexico and Belize. Now we're going to see a surge of this work its way into the Gulf of Mexico as we go over the next few days. Some indications are it may kind of lift up to the north toward Louisiana, others a little bit more back toward the Bay of Campeche and back toward Mexico. So I want to spell that out and what that means in this video and what I'm watching over the next few days and what we'll watch together in this weather community. And by the way, thank you for taking the time to subscribe. All right, let's get a look at what we've got going on. You see some of the moisture here. This is really the backset kind of in between tropical waves trying to slide into Trinidad and Tobago, Grenada. We'll see a slight increase in the chance of rain. So I'll get into the rain totals and the 3-day outlook with that. Here's this surge of moisture over here. Let me widen out the view. Some rain also near Colombia this morning. Here's another tropical wave right about here. This is kind of the back side of one. We've had some heavy rain this morning over by Georgetown. We get over toward Guyana, and then watching these tropical waves coming off the coast of Africa. These aren't water waves. These are atmospheric waves, kind of disturbances, buildups of showers and storms that will march across the Atlantic and bring a surge of moisture toward the Caribbean. And then eventually we could see some development out of those. Now, let's get back to the possibility of some development. And this is what we're going to watch out for together. Now, here's the Gulf of Mexico, Bay of Campeche, back through the Caribbean. The water temperatures here, 30 degrees Celsius or 86 degrees Fahrenheit, which is conducive for development. With that said, there's also a lot of wind shear, and I'll get into that more in tomorrow's video. There's a lot of wind shear through here. Wind shear is not favorable for development, and that's actually a good thing. We need the rain in spots. We definitely don't need a hurricane or anything like that forming. But the issue is we have this surge of moisture. The water temperatures are very warm, and look at the Gulf of Mexico, even near Louisiana, Texas, parts of Mexico, just off the coast. You see these kind of hotter red colors here. Those aren't just warm water temperatures. They're well above average. They're acting more like late July or even early August. So the concern is, or kind of what to watch is that if we get a broad area of low pressure kind of pumping in over these areas, it may spin up at least briefly into a tropical storm. Could kind of happen rather quickly. Above average water temperatures right through the Caribbean. So that's what we watch out for to see if anything kind of goes on top of that and kind of spins up. Now, another thing I watch out for this season, which is very important. I talked about this in prior videos. This is almost the most important thing to watch out for during the hurricane season is the ocean heat content. You see here these brighter colors. That's not just warm water, that's warm water that goes way down. So if we get a system that kind of goes over these heat pockets, if you will, high ocean heat content, it's going to just churn up even more water. The warm water is the fuel to these things. A lot of times when they kind of sit over some water, pulls up some cool water, and that doesn't allow it to develop too terribly much. But in this case, there's such high heat content that it's just going to add that fuel. And that's why some of the systems, as we get deeper into the season, will go under that saying of rapid intensification because they're firing up over these very warm water pockets. So with that said, let's get back to what I'm seeing with this area here. Now, there is the possibility in here that a tropical depression or a tropical storm could form for the week ahead. The modeling has backed off a little bit, and that's because I look at everything other than the models too. That's because there is a good amount of wind shear out there, which is good. The European model at this point does not have this area develop into a tropical storm, kind of borderline. The American model, no tropical storm. The Canadian model still has this area becoming a tropical storm. The Icon, the German model, also has no storm, but they all have a broad area of low pressure, so that's just a storm system, kind of a big spin out here, but with the high ocean heat content and generally just the warm water temperatures, it wouldn't take much. it wouldn't take much for this to just be a typical area of low pressure to quickly spinning up into a tropical storm. So here's the European model. Now, it's hard to tell if this moisture will lift to the north or kind of slide back toward the west. I believe that this area just stays kind of weaker and sloppier. This could actually bring some rain up toward Louisiana. If it gets a little more organized, it could swing back toward Mexico. Now, watching this rain here too, that's going to pull into Trinidad, and we'll zoom into that in a moment, but you can see the extra moisture, the green here, that's the rain, and where you see some of the yellows popping up, that would be some heavier rain. But this here is Sunday, so you see a lot of moisture just surging in this area. We talked about this, I think, a week and a half ago, and you see if it stays disorganized, that would just allow some moisture to feed up even toward Mississippi and Louisiana here. A lot of hostile winds up here in the atmosphere, so a lot of wind shear, so I don't expect it to spin up today or tomorrow. Now, going out in time, this here is our Monday, and once again, you see that surge of moisture. Now, Texas, as we get into eastern end of Texas, of course, we do not need the rain. We need the rain back into West Texas. But in here, this is where we could see a little swirl, the possibility of that. So it doesn't take much because of those warm water temperatures for something to develop, although the European model is not showing that quite yet. And then this here, let me stop it here. This is Tuesday, and you see that rain kind of Louisiana moving back toward Texas, and where we need it desperately is Mexico. We are going to see that higher chance of rain. Thank you for spreading this channel around Mexico. You see here a little circulation. This would be on Wednesday. So there is that small opportunity for this to develop into a tropical depression or tropical storm. And then kind of later in the game, as we get deeper into the upcoming week, that would draw the moisture back toward parts of Texas. We'll watch out for flooding. And then hopefully we get some of this rain working into Mexico. So a weaker kind of broad area would just kind of make it sloppy with a lot of rain. If it kind of tightens up or organizes, so to speak, that would make it kind of swing a little bit back toward Mexico. But either way, in this area, western Gulf of Mexico, the rain chance is going up substantially as we get into that upcoming week. Now, the American model also at this point does not have a tropical storm. What it does down the road is try to have a secondary spin, so we'll talk about that in a moment. Here's, and I'll zoom down here and we'll get into the Caribbean in 1 second, but you see the surge of moisture just going out in time. This is Monday. Same thing, since it's not organized through the weekend into Monday, that would lift some of the moisture off to the west of Florida in the Gulf of Mexico and kind of lifting up to the north. And then eventually, as we get into the week, this here would be Tuesday, trying to swing some of the moisture back toward East Texas. We're definitely on guard, on alert for that high flood threat since we've had so much flooding as of late. You see here, this would be Houston as we swing back toward Mexico here on Wednesday, not showing any organizations, slight spin possible right about here, and then that rain works into Mexico. But what the American model shows, and some of the other models, and it makes sense because what happens is sometimes the environment, it doesn't just change so quickly, the pattern stays the same. We've had this surge of moisture, right? What the American model shows is a secondary surge of moisture. We're once again going to see later into the upcoming week more rain building right over here by the Yucatan, Belize, Cayman Islands, and even Cuba, and then eventually that could lift again up into the Gulf of Mexico. So I talk about the patterns you have to watch throughout the season, and this is one of the patterns we're seeing right now, that kind of surge of moisture through the Western Caribbean into the Gulf of Mexico. Now, if something does spin up over the warm waters of the Western Gulf and the Bay of Campeche, the first name on the list is Alberto. The names recycle every 6 years, so you may see some familiar names unless the names get retired, and then they add on some new names. So let me zoom down here. Here's that extra rain around still Western Cuba, still watching out for some rain South Florida, northern Bahamas, scattered to widespread right through Central America. You see through here, not as much as you get over toward Mexico, aside from the Yucatan. But here's some of the rain: Trinidad and Tobago, Grenada, St. Vincent the Grenadines. Now, this kind of on the backside of a tropical wave. It's not a big blob of rain. Not all of us are going to get it. I'll show it to you with the rain totals. But you could see some scattered showers coming out of Guyana, Suriname, that will be around in the southeastern Caribbean. So it's not a guarantee we get rain, but the rain chance does bump up as we go throughout the weekend. Cayman Islands as well. We're going to see a resurgence in some of the rain as we work our way into our Sunday. Isolated to scattered storms for us in Puerto Rico, and very hit or miss Antigua and Barbuda, St. Kitts and Nevis. We need the rain. Montserrat, Sebastian. A lot of us still really need some of the rain. This here is on Monday, and this is the area we'll be watching for development. Still on the edge of some of the rain in the Cayman Islands. Jamaica, we're kind of in between things. For us in Jamaica, isolated pop-up storms the next few days, not widespread. Keep me posted if you get one though. And then you see those scattered storms, Haiti over toward the Dominican Republic and into Puerto Rico. Now let me zoom down with the 3-day rain totals, and this is what I was talking about. Some of us get some rain, some of us don't. This is just a model. So this moisture here by St. Lucia, maybe a little bit closer to Grenada or vice versa. But this is showing if you get some showers, and that's still an if, 25 millimeters of rain to about an inch of rain in some spots. And this is a good sampling. This is just kind of a feel how some of us may not get some rain, others will get some rain, scattered showers around Trinidad and Tobago, especially tomorrow and again on Monday. Now this here, some brighter color showing up in Puerto Rico. That's because we could get a few thunderstorms that could give us a couple inches of rain, but the rain totals, U.S., British Virgin Islands, all the way down through Dominica, not too high. Antigua and Barbuda, an isolated shower. Let me know what you're getting or not getting in the comments. This here, the DR and Haiti, again, these brighter colors, that would be if we do get a few thunderstorms. Dominican Republic, Haiti, we'll see a couple of those popping up, and if you get a downpour, 75 millimeters of rain to 3 inches of rain will be possible. But Jamaica, for us, it's very isolated. Cayman Islands, a little bit more so. We'll be on the edge of more rain as we get into that upcoming week. Western Cuba, a better chance of the rain. Rain chance overall trending down as we work our way toward the Bahamas. But look at this. Here's Louisiana, Mississippi, Texas, Mexico. This is that big buildup of rain. Then eventually this is going to lift to the north, and then deeper into the week start to swing its way off toward the west. So you see Mexico the next 3 days, not much in the way of rain unless you're near the Yucatan or a little bit closer to Guatemala. Now Guatemala, El Salvador, back toward coastal sections, Pacific side of Nicaragua, we will get some higher totals, some flooding possible, and some landslides possible. So trying to give you that heads up. It's just going to be so active as we work our way to the Pacific side. But look at this, Atlantic region of Canada, Bermuda, right down through the Bahamas and the Caribbean. We're going to have that very high chance of rain if you're in that moisture plume that's right in here, and then that starts to break free and will work its way back toward the western Gulf of Mexico. Look, you can see how it's all tied together. It's incredible how the weather on a global scale is so tied together. Bigger storms, northern U.S. as we work our way through the entire weekend. But watching this moisture here, Bermuda, especially later today into at least the first half of tomorrow, the rain chance will bump up, and you see then that rain eventually will start to push off. This here is our Sunday afternoon, tomorrow afternoon, and there's that rain back in the Gulf of Mexico, just kind of feeding in, just kind of lifting to the north, and then eventually lifting off to the west, and we'll see if something does develop as we go through the upcoming week, but that is not a guarantee. But the top end of this, how it's all tied together, this here in the Atlantic region of Canada stretches all the way down into the Caribbean, back toward parts of Central America, and you can see some of the rain here as we work our way through the day, especially eastern ends, Newfoundland, a better chance of getting some of that rain. And then as we work our way into Sunday and Monday, the rain chance isn't as high. This system starts to move off. We're looking better over toward New Brunswick. Could get a few isolated showers Sunday into Monday as things start to settle. So Jamaica, isolated storms. Monday, we have about a 30% chance. So a few pop-up storms, otherwise hot and too dry. Cayman Islands, though, by Monday, the rain chance is going to be up to about 50%. Trinidad and Tobago, this is not a washout, but we will get some areas of scattered rain around starting tomorrow and Monday. Same thing in Barbados, about a 40 to 50% chance, 40 to 50% chance for us in St. Lucia tomorrow and on Monday, and we'll do that again in Grenada. Hoping to get some rain. We need to get some rain in here. St. Vincent of the Grenadines, one of our drier spots. Rain chance about 40% for tomorrow. I wish it was higher. 40% chance tomorrow in Martinique, 30 to 40% chance Sunday into Monday as we work our way into Dominica, and about a 20 to 30% chance in Guadeloupe. So once again, the rain chance not super high. Antigua and Barbuda, it would be isolated, 30% chance, 20 to 30% chance St. Kitts, Nevis, and Montserrat, 30% chance through the weekend, Anguilla and St. Bart's, and still holding on to about a 20% chance St. Martin, Saba, and Statia. Another spot where we need to get some rain. We've had a couple little showers in the morning hours, kind of very early morning hours in a few of our locations, but the rain chance overall is not high. Now, as we get back through Puerto Rico, we're going to see some scattered storms developing. That could lead to some isolated flooding. Otherwise, on the hot side, 30 to 40% chance U.S. and British Virgin Islands, 30 to 40% chance trending down in the Bahamas. Turks and Caicos, we are mainly dry. And then we get some of those isolated storms around. They could be heavy, though, in the Dominican Republic. Just about a 10% chance today in Haiti. Over toward Belize, though, keeping scattered showers around, hoping some different spots get some rain. We're going to see that moisture surge around. Let me know if you do get some rain across Belize. Aruba, Curacao, Bonaire, we've been in between. We've actually had some dust around in some spots. Rain chance 30% tomorrow in Curacao. Guyana, though, we've already had some of the rain this morning. I talked about that. So watching out for some areas of flooding. Same thing in Suriname. Let me know what you're getting or not getting. Cuba, best chance of rain would be western end. And then we start to get back to some of those isolated afternoon storms. Costa Rica and Panama, generally a high chance of rain. Watching out for some areas of flooding. Thank you for the updates coming out of Costa Rica and Panama the last few days. Nicaragua, especially on the Pacific side, that chance of some flooding. Honduras, we're going to see it getting more and more active. And then Guatemala and El Salvador, we're going to see the possibility of some landslides. Watching that Pacific side. Let me know what you're getting. Mexico City, we're too dry. Hopefully we get some rain at least pulling into other parts of Mexico for the week ahead. The Yucatan, though, the rain chance is trending higher with that disturbance that will be nearby. Colombia, rain chance about 30 to 40% early on today, and then kind of goes down as we work our way into Monday. 20 to 30% chance through the weekend in northern Venezuela. And watching that batch of rain I was showing you in Bermuda, just trying to move in and then eventually moving out. So the Western Caribbean and the Gulf of Mexico, that's where we're going to see not only the buildup of rain over the next few days, but there could be that secondary buildup and a secondary spin later in the upcoming week. Tropical development will be possible. That area would lift to the north at least initially, and then it should swing back to the west, and a tropical wave, or at least the backside of it, in the Eastern Caribbean, bringing a few scattered showers around. So it's going to be a very busy week ahead as we could see some kind of quick spin-ups with those water temperatures, and that's what I'll be watching. So thank you for spreading this information, and I hope you have a really good day ahead.